welcome to another video. This week I'm taking a bit of a break from making dungeon maps, but don't worry, there will be more coming soon. I thought I'd do a little blog-like video this time about another fun project that has taken up my time over the last year or so. So I made a role-playing game. I'm going to talk about the how, what, where, when of it all. And if you love TTRPGs too, maybe you should think about making a game and hopefully get some tips from this. So let's see how to get from this to this. If you want to check out Quintessence, then there's a link below. Okay, first off, the why and a little bit of the when. So near the start of 2022, I've been playing in a group for quite a while. Primarily we were playing D&D 5e in our DM's custom steampunk-esque world. We'd been playing for a few years, and Charlotte, the DM, remarked that she had homebrewed so much of the rules and created so many mini systems and mini games that the D&D aspect of the game was just getting in the way now. And true, as players, we had all noted how the rules were getting in the way of the style in which we played. Now I just want to note there's nothing wrong with D&D. The rules just didn't work with the way we wanted to play an RPG. So Charlotte and I decided to make our own RPG. Well, first we decided to make a card game, but we didn't in the end. That's maybe another story. But anyway, come January 2022, we decided that it was time, which leads us to the how. We spent quite a while working out what we liked and didn't like in terms of rule systems. This involved playing and looking at lots of other RPGs. This was a lot of fun, by the way, and it's always fun to see how other games tackle certain problems. From this, we came up with a very simple blueprint of what we wanted our game to abide by, regardless of how complex it would be. This was probably one of the most useful things early on that made creating everything else an awful lot easier. We wanted our game to be primarily about story and character. We wanted it to reward creativity, and we wanted it to feel cinematic. We didn't want it to feel slow. So with our core tenets in place, we would meet for an hour or so once a week after work for a coffee and discuss, agree, disagree, and compromise on various things along the way. We would set ourselves little homeworks to do, like test systems, explore concepts and the like. We also discovered during this phase it became useful to ask a very simple question: is it fun? If the answer was yes, then carry on developing. If not, try something else. During this time we also decided that the game would be setting agnostic, meaning that in theory it could work for any genre or setting, which I think it does. Charlotte and I found that we worked well together. Charlotte would often develop complex systems that I could simplify. Sometimes I would have the bones of a good idea and Charlotte could flesh it out so that it worked properly. This went on for about a year and a bit until we had our system. Now I won't go into the specifics of the whole system here, but I'll go through some of the key points. So first off, our game uses a dice pool system. We discovered very early that rolling a handful of dice is much more fun than rolling a single die. We don't use attributes or abilities, instead we use approaches. If a roll is needed to overcome an obstacle or challenge, the player selects two approaches based on how they think their character might overcome this. They can add any additional dice through equipment or special skills and powers called perks, and they roll. The GM sets a difficulty number that the roll must beat. Any die with a score over 4 counts as one success. If the highest number on that die is rolled, then it may count as 2 successes, or alternatively, the player may count it as a single success and save the other as an extra die to add to another check later on. If a 1 is rolled, it minuses a success from the final score, or the player may ignore this and give the 1 to the GM, allowing them to use an extra die against the players at another time. One of the things we notice with many RPGs is that when it comes down to combat, the game slows down. This should really be the fastest, most fun aspect of a game. It's dramatic and exciting, but we realise the slowdown normally comes from initiative systems, so we came up with a different system. We use an action bar. In its simplest terms, everyone is able to take a 1-step, 2-step or 3-step action. Each action has different effects, such as more damage or a special effect. Players can react in between these steps, but it means they lose the action they were building up to and must start again. This keeps combat fast-paced, everyone engaged. It also keeps combat relatively short, allowing for more gameplay in a session. We don't use levels or classes, instead character generation follows a life path, where players choose what happens to their character over 4 events in their life before the game starts. This is where all the stats, gear and special perks are created. Through actions during gameplay, players earn experience points that can be used to add dice to pools on the fly, improve special abilities and create new ones, allowing players to take their characters in almost any direction they see fit. We developed a freeform magic system that is simple yet quite tactical, and a special ability system for settings and characters that don't use magic, that utilises the same system. We developed a bunch of other stuff too that if I talked about would make this video crazy long, so check out the link in the description for more information. So then what? We had our game that we kind of liked. Well, I forgot to say that all throughout this time we playtested with our little game group. Then when we felt we had most of the bugs ironed out, we playtested it with complete strangers. This was by far the scariest but fairly useful part of the process, and if you're going to make a game, I cannot recommend doing this enough. We got in touch with a local board game cafe and arranged a playtest evening. Charlotte and I both ran games to a packed cafe. Though the feedback was largely positive, we did get some stuff to work on, and it ended up being a lot of fun. So we did it a bunch more times. So by the spring of 2023, we had a game. Weirdly, one of the last things we decided was on the name, which Charlotte thought of seemingly out of the blue, and so Quintessence was born. We decided we would publish it ourselves, so we typed it all up. Fortunately, both Charlotte and I come from an illustration, art, graphic design kind of background. We laid it all out in InDesign, and between us did about 90 illustrations for the book. Now, I'm aware that artwork is by far the most expensive aspect of making a book like this, and because of our backgrounds, all it really cost us was time and a few art materials. I know not everyone is in this situation, but if you can collaborate with a keen artist who loves RPGs, I bet you'd find it extremely rewarding. We both also love black and white artwork, which not only allowed us to create the art in a reasonably quick amount of time, but also kept printing costs down too. By October 2023, we had a proof copy of our book and began looking into how to get it out into the world. Initially, we thought about crowdfunding, but quickly found that living on the Isle of Man, we were unable to utilise platforms like Kickstarter or Indiegogo. Now, there's nothing nefarious about this, it's just that all the payment systems that these platforms use, called Stripe, it's just not supported on the Isle of Man or other kind of relatively low population places. It's just not in their interest to do so. So we decided to do it the old-fashioned way. We did a pre-order via social media and then contacted brick and mortar game stores across the UK and managed to sell out of our first relatively small print run. The sales allowed us to do something that was amazing, and if you're thinking of making a game or even interested in games in any way, highly recommend you do this too. We booked a stand at the UK Games Expo 2024. We booked this kind of late, around February, and the event was the end of May. I won't go into the logistics of the whole thing, but we got there in one piece with a load of books to sell. The event itself is incredibly well organised, and if you've never been before, like we hadn't, the scale and volume of visitors was unbelievable. We had the smallest possible stand, fairly minimal signage because we just didn't know what to expect, and our book to sell. Despite all this, we sold out and managed to get some distributors on board as well. We met a load of indie designers and swapped stories. We met established creators too. They were great. It really was an amazing event. So much so that in a week's time we're off to the UK Games Expo 2025 to launch our first supplement for our game, Age of Goblins. So what did I learn from this process? I learned that collaboration yields unexpected, exciting results. If you're going to make a game, I recommend working with someone or maybe several others. We made the game we wanted to make. We ignored trends for the most part, and I'm pretty happy with what we have. If I were to do it all over again, I think I would have done something smaller, maybe a zine rather than a hardback book. Just logistically and costs-wise, it would have been a bit easier. If I can give you one piece of advice, go to a gaming con, talk to designers, ask them about their journey to publishing their game. They're all different and incredibly interesting, and we hope to go to more cons soon as well. And I'm absolutely going to keep making games. It is so much fun. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this vlog-like video. More maps will be coming next week. If you want to know more about Quintessence, then follow the link below. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy, folks.